is the only thing that'll get those guys off my back. Excuse me. I am a scientist, not a handyman. Oh, great, a clone with an attitude. Well, that was stimulating. I seem to have worked up my first appetite.
Welcome to the newest edition of TNI News with your host, JC. Hey everybody, JC here, and welcome to another edition of TNI News. Now today is Tuesday, and you know what that means? It's Turtle Tuesday, which to celebrate, companies like NECA Toys want you to spend an absorbent amount of money on their new sewer diorama playset. That's right, today NECA put up for pre-order the second in their series of 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series sewer diorama modular playset pieces. So the first one went up last year, which was the living room set, and now we've got Donatello's lab. The third one is supposed to be the kitchen from the Turtles Lair, and I'm assuming that one will be made available sometime next year. Now the cost of this one, like the first one, the living room set, is going to put you back $299, so these things are not cheap. Now with this one, besides the walls and the floor, you also get some lab equipment, some tables, some shelves, things like that. Stuff from the cartoon, I'm assuming. I'm not sure what the arm is from. I forget what the arm is from, that weird arm looking thing, but I'm sure it was from one of the episodes in the cartoon. So, again, these things are not cheap. I mean, I did the math. So there's a total of 5 pieces that you could get to complete this thing, and it's been years in the making. So the upside is, obviously you didn't have to spend all the money at once. However, the downside is some of these pieces are not still available, which I think is kind of weird. But, going back as far as 2020, in fact, I think before 2020, we got that original diorama street set, and then they kind of redid it as the cartoon street set, which is more in keeping with the Turtles. So those, the original one has been reissued, and it was put up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, where it's actually still available for about $115. You can get. But the cartoon one is no longer available. Now, I don't really think you need the cartoon one. You could do with just the original 2, get 2 of the originals if you want. And the cartoon one was actually more expensive. That one was about $150 when it was originally put up for sale. So, but if you got both of those street diorama scenes and you end up getting all 3 of these, the living room, which again was $300, this laboratory or Donatello's lab, which is $300. The kitchen is a smaller piece, so I don't think that one's going to run you $300. I'm going to guess, and this is purely just a guess, but I'm going to say it's probably going to run more about $200. So, but even still, if you end up buying all of this, it's going to cost you over $1,000, and that's not even counting whatever you ended up paying for shipping. Now, like this set on the NECA site, the new one, I did a quick calculation on their site. So for to have it shipped to me, it would run me about $30. It varies depending on where you're living and all that, but somewhere in around the $30. And then if you still needed to get those city dioramas from Big Bad Toy Store or what have you, then you'd have to pay some additional shipping there. So, again, this thing is not cheap, over $1,000 to complete the whole thing. I mean, you might be tempted, after spending all that money, you might be tempted to want to move into this thing yourself. Definitely very costly if you want to, again, try and complete this. And then, as I said, if you're late to the game, if last year you didn't have the money or you weren't collecting back then, now you're you can get this laboratory set, but you no longer have available to you unless you go to the secondary market, you no longer have the living room piece. So I don't know if NECA will at some point, maybe after all 3 are out, will offer, the other, go back and offer the ones that people are missing. Which if they were going to do that, they should let people know, because like if I was sitting here contemplating, if I had missed out on the sewer playset and I'm sitting here contemplating whether I want to get this one, I'm like, unless I know for sure I could get the living room piece, I'd be like, no, I think I'm just going to hold off. So if they're going to plan on reissuing these, the older pieces, they should let people know, make that pretty clear. But so far as I know, they've made no mention of that. Now, one thing I will tell you, for those of you who don't have the money to spend like $1,000 to complete this thing, there are alternatives for you. And the cheapest and most economical one for you is this sewer animated series diorama set from Extreme. They do a bunch of these cardboard type diorama pieces. So, hopefully, your action figures won't think you're making them live in a cardboard box. But, again, if you want something more economical, you might look at that. But with this, NECA one, it's definitely going to cost you a bit. Now, if you're wondering the size on this thing, so they didn't actually give the measurements on Donatello's lab this year, but last year, the living room set, which I believe is about the same size, same dimensions. So width-wise, it's 25 inches. Height-wise, it's about 12.75, and then length-wise, from front to back, is said to be about 15 inches. So, it's got a decent size to it. And people who pre-ordered the living room set, I believe, all now have theirs in hand. I believe there were maybe some delays, and they didn't give us a date for when, Donatello's lab is going to arrive. So I don't know. I'm assuming it should be out to people by the end of the year. Last year, they said it would, the living room set would ship by December. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be about the same unless something happens for this Donatello's lab. And you have until April 2nd to decide whether you want to add this to your collection. So it's like an open pre-order, so you don't have to worry about it selling out or anything. So again, you have until April 2nd at 11:59 a.m. Eastern time to pre-order this thing. But then once they close the pre-orders, that's probably it. So unless, again, after they've done everything, they might come back and offer some of these again. But I really feel like if they're going to do that, they should let people know. That way, if you miss out on one of these pieces, you will know that you will have a chance to go back and get them at a later time. But that's just me. That's just how I would think. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Now, in other Turtle Tuesday news, you may recall last week I told you how Playmates Toys was going to be doing original sketch versions of the Turtles, individually released figures that were going to cost about $11. Well, apparently NECA was like, hold my beer, and wanted to get these teasers out indicating that they're going to be doing their own original sketch figures. We have no details, no real good looks at the figures yet. I can almost promise you the NECA figures will cost more than the Playmates Toys ones. So, I don't know if you want to get the cheaper ones or the more expensive. Again, I don't know how these NECA figures are going to be released. They could be like this year's San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up being the case. But again, just know that Playmates Toys isn't the only one doing original sketch figures. NECA is as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if other companies came out and said they were going to start doing them as well, like Loyal Subjects for the BST AXN line. Even, who knows, maybe Super 7 might try and get some ultimate versions out at some point. But again, NECA seems to be teasing original sketch figures, and of course, when more details become available on that, I will be sure to let you guys know. Okay, and that's all I have for you guys on this Turtle Tuesday. However, just as a heads up to you Marvel Legend fans, tomorrow, which is going to be March 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you can expect going up for pre-order on the Hasbro Pulse website that next Spider-Man animated series Marvel Legends 2-pack featuring the Morbius and Doctor Strange figures. So if you caught my videos last week, I told you sometime this week these would be going up for pre-order. And in fact, that is the case. And now it's been officially confirmed that tomorrow, Wednesday, is when these will be available. So if you've been collecting these animated series figures, they do have the cell shading and such, then you might want to be online tomorrow around, again, 1 p.m. Not that I really am expecting these to sell out super fast, but if you just want to make sure you can get them, like I say, you want to be online around 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And they didn't give any price, but I'm assuming they're going to be similarly priced to the other ones that they've been doing, which I don't actually have that price in front of me. But I want to say like $54, something like that. So again, pre-order tomorrow for you Marvel Legend fans. And as always, guys, feel free to share your thoughts on everything I talked about down in the comment section below. Like this video if you're so inclined. Please think about subscribing to the channel if you're new, and also you can become a channel member if you're interested. I will have a link to that in the video description below. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, JediInsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,